And I'd like to call to order the Village Board meeting of August 21st, 2014 at 5:31 PM. Clerk Simsky, can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Gunther?
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Addington?
Here.
Trustee Barker?
Here.
Trustee Barry?
Here.
Trustee Nero?
Here.
Trustee Scott?
Here.
Trustee Seneca? Here. Assistant Manager May?
Here.
And Attorney Zemanek.
Here.
Again, would everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. I welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. And the first item on the agenda is our open forum. And those, if anybody has not filled out and would like to speak during open forum, you can still see the chief and you could fill one out. But we do have one request. It's Jason Hancock from Urban Legend. And you can come on up and tell us about your special event.
How you doing, Mayor and trustees? Nice to see everybody tonight. First, I want to congratulate the 13-year-olds for third place, right? Good job, you guys. So that's wonderful. I want to talk about just our last event that we had a few months ago. It was a great, we thought we were just going to have 200 or 300 people at our event. We had over 500 people at our local brewery. It was a huge success, way beyond what we thought it would be. And our first anniversary is coming up September 6th. That's when we actually opened the doors to the public last year. So we had such a huge success from the last party, we figured we'd try it again and see what happens this time. So we're going to change a few things. I know we had a few complaints about noise, and we're going to turn the band around so it's facing the opposite direction. So we won't have any issues with that in the future. I just want to thank the board for allowing us to do this. And
Where are you located?
We're located on 1119 Zigmont Circle, right behind the bus depot. We have we produce about 2,000 gallons of beer there every month, and we're expanding. We've got the unit next door. I talked a little bit about this last month, and we're in the middle of designing that right now. So it's pretty exciting. So, but thank you so much for supporting us and the community.
And
So, we
congratulations
appreciate it.
on 1 year.
Thank you.
Moving on to, that's it for open forum. Moving on to reports. The first one, of course, is mine, the mayor. And it's always a great pleasure when we can recognize and honor our youth in the community. And it's probably even more of a joy that we're able to recognize our Babe Ruth Little League for their accomplishment this year, and probably even more important to Dave Manessa, since his wife usually stands up here and gets all the attention for the cheerleaders. But Dave, if you could come on up. There you are, you're right there. And Dave will tell us about this All-Star team that went the furthest any team has ever gone.
That's correct. Thank you, Mayor Ryan and Village Board. Thank you. Here's a picture. I know you usually put here if you want to take a peek at the boys. It's a nice picture right there. But the group of boys you'll see tonight are a really talented 13-year-old group. What happens is we went to the state championship in LaGrange, Illinois. We went 3-0, which means we won the 3 games when we won state. Exciting. We finish on Sunday. Come Wednesday, we have to be down in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and start playing again. So we had people had to change job hours, do everything, and boom, we jammed down there. There's 12 teams in the Kentucky tournament, which is the regional. There's 6 states. You had Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin. So out of those 12 teams, the top guy goes to the World Series, which right now is playing as we speak in Virginia. How it works is we got there Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, there's pool play. We play 3 games no matter what. If you go 0-3, thanks, goodbye. And you move on to the tournament, and it's elimination, single elimination. We went 3-0 in the pool play, undefeated. We scored 44 runs. We gave up 27, but at the same time, it was an exciting adventure. I know I've got a short time, but I kind of want to break down a couple of the games just to tell how exciting those games were. The game one, we played an Indiana team. We won 11-3. It was our team played well in the state. And we kind of rolled that over right to the first game and beat the Indiana team 11-3. We had Michael Kukushka. He pitched 4 innings, had 8 strikeouts, and 3 unearned runs. They scored 3 unearned runs on our mistakes, errors. So technically, that was an exciting thing. Robbie Burns came in, had a couple strikeouts, and then Zach Gooding, he saved it 1, 2, 3. So that was a good game. Second game, that same day, we played in the morning, and in the afternoon we had to play game 2. It was against Russell County, Kentucky. Big guys, I mean, bigger than me. I was going to ask them for their IDs. I said, how old are you guys? So what happens is we're down 3-0 in the third inning. So we're, right away we're behind. So it's a little different than we're used to, kind of being stronger and winning as hardly we were. But that bottom of the third, we're the home team, we scored 7 runs. So, okay, good rhythm. Up 7-3, back and forth, they tie us. So we go into extra innings, which technically is a 7-inning games. We're in the 8th inning now. They scored up, we're down 12-11. We tie it up 12-12 with Michael Kukushka, knocks in Joey Verzi from second. Michael Steele, he's at second. It's 2 outs, 3-2 count. Alex Murata, he's up to bat. They bring in their stud pitcher, probably throwing 75 plus. And that's pretty, it comes pretty hard. Alex fouled off 7 fastballs, foul tip, foul, boom, boom. 3-2, 2 outs, bomb the 8th, it's a game, it's exciting. Rips this thing up the middle, scores, Michael, we win 13-12. So now we're pumped up, this is pretty exciting. That night, relax. Friday, we have a game. This game I want to go fast, but this is the exciting one. We play Hancock County, Kentucky. Their pitcher has a curveball, probably I couldn't hit, and I'm not the best hitter, but our first 3 innings, which is 9 batters, and 7 of our batters struck out on his curveball. It was just boom, boom. Our guys just couldn't touch it. So we're down 8-0. And now we're, oh my God, hair pulling out, whole scenario. Bottom of the inning, we're up to bat, third base side. I walk up to the coach, and I said to the coach, I'm going to throw in the towel. You guys, your pitcher's phenomenal. We can't touch him. I said, the guy talks like this down in Kentucky. He said, Dave, you know what? I can understand one word he said. Only thing I understood was his arm's tired. Meaning he threw 35 curveballs out of 40 pitches. His arm's hurting him. We scored 13 runs in that inning with 0 outs. We kept hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting. Finished the inning with 15 runs. Zach Gooding led off the inning. He batted twice. He was on deck for the 3rd time. The inning took almost an hour and 15 minutes. We were up 15-8. Eventually, we won 20-12. It was an exciting win. The umpires came up to me after the game and said, I've been umping guys from Indiana, Ohio, everywhere. Said, I've never been involved in such a hitting display of baseball ever. And this is the most exciting thing I've ever seen. I said, me too. But anyway, so we won that. So 3-0 in pool play. We played Saturday. We played a Kentucky team. We beat them 7-4. So we go to Final Four now, because now 8 teams are gone, eliminated. We're to Final Four. If you're Final Little League World Series, that's where they're kind of at right now too, almost. We play Janesville, Wisconsin. We go up 1-0. They tie us 1-1. They eventually beat us kind of handedly, but their guys, I was asking for driver's license and set the gate. I mean, these guys are full beards and they're, Wisconsin. They won. They eventually won the next game against Jasper, Indiana, and now they're in the World Series, and they're 2-1 in pool play, if you care to know, out in Virginia. So congrats to them, and congrats to our boys. Our team took 3rd in the region. The furthest any team at a Westmont baseball level all-star team has done in almost 40-year existence in Westmont baseball. And it's all these guys right here. And not to continue on, but I have some stats and just want to read them off just based on the teams that we competed against. There's a certain thing you can follow. I'll go quickly. On batting averages alone, out of the 155 players that were there, Alex Murata was at number 4, and Jasper Ricker was number 5 of 155 other batters. So that was superb.
All right.
On base percentage and OPS, if you're familiar with the term for baseball, Jasper was number 2, and Zach Gooding was number 5 out of 155 baseball players. Slugging percentage, which percentage of, how much power hits, you get doubles, triples, you get certain levels and things like that. Jasper was number 2, and Zach Gooding was number 4, and that level too. The exciting part is runs batted in the whole tournament. Guys knocking guys in, runs batted in. The number 1 run producer was Zach Gooding. A couple pitching things. A first pitch strike, they kind of calculate. I don't know, I never have, meaning the pitcher throws first pitch strike. We had 2 guys. Robbie Burns was number 4, and Joey Verzi was number 5. Of all the pitches they had. And Zach Gooding pretty much closed our games. We had the 3 games, he pitched 1 or 2 here and there, and his ERA was number 5, and of all the whole tournament, the best ERA. Zach Gooding again. One thing I want to add, my son, he's 20. He played, I coached with his kids all these years. I don't have a son on the team, but you know what? It's exciting for me to be part in this boy's experience. I want to introduce the 2 coaches who do have sons on the team is Mr. Rob Burns and Mr. Rick Kukushka. And then I want to introduce the boys one by one, and they can come up and receive their little certificate of thank you very much. This wonderful time we had. First, I'm going down the order. Christian Alexander, he batted, I'm going to throw it out there, he batted .615 in the state tournament, and he batted .400 in the Kentucky tournament.
Wow.
Christian. Robbie Burns, Robbie batted .250 and .350 in the tournaments. And he was our winning pitcher in 2 to 3 of the games, technically, because his curveball was working phenomenally, which we don't promote curveballs, but he throws it really well. Our second baseman, Ryan Freitag. He batted .300 and .333 in both tournaments. Next we have is Ricky Garcia. Ricky. He batted .275 and .250 in both tournaments.
Oh, you forgot to coach.
You can say hi to them if you want.
We're going to have to start lining the rest up over here.
And you heard his name a couple of times, but he batted in the state tournament. Where's my numbers? Sorry, I'm going fast as I can. I know we got plans. .500, and he batted .666 in Kentucky. That's Zach Gooding. Okay. Then we have Sean Kwasny. Hey, Sean. He batted .250 and .300 in the tournament. Michael Kukushka, his dad's here, but Michael's not here because he's golfing. Good luck in there in Sandwich. That's Michael Kukushka. All right. Our number 1 pitcher, we threw a lot. He threw tons of pitches. He batted .444, and in the state, he batted the .440. That's Alex Murata. Next guy is our catcher. He caught every game except one when he kind of tweaked his ankle, so we had other catcher step in. He sat it out, and it was fine because we still did well. In general, he batted .600 in the States, and he batted .400 in Kentucky. That's Jasper Ricky Ron. Our next catcher, he subbed at one game. He batted .220 and .300. That's Vincent Scalfani. Vinny. We also have Connor Alessi, Gavin Smith, and Joey Verzi, who's golfing also, are not here, but they're also the excellent participants and part of this fantastic run for Westmont and youth baseball here in the state of Illinois. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
All right. Squad. Coach, we got to see you. Okay. Ready? Yeah. Here we go, 1-1. Hadn't seen him in a while.
Cool.
Fine looking bunch of men.
I'll take one more. Here we go. Ready? Here we go.
One more, Brent? Okay, last Brent.
No fun.
Just in case.
Very nice.
Right. Good job, guys.
Excellent.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah, see you next year.
Just a funny guy. Just look at him, he's laughing.
He's a great guy.
Look at him. Look at him.
High five. Look.
Again, I'd like to, congratulate the team, and it's always heartwarming when we have somebody from our community advance as far as they did. Also tonight, we're going to give out some additional awards, the Fire Department awards. I call Chief up to the podium, and Chief Weiss has some life-saving awards he'd like to present.
Thanks, Mayor. We're back in front of you again to present a life-saving award to 5 individuals from our department, paramedics and firefighter EMTs. And once they all get in here, we're go ahead and start this. I'm going to have our EMS director, Lynn Jolly, come forward, call those individuals up, and talk a little bit about the call and what they did. Lynn?
We'll make sure they get all in here first. Okay. All right, the individuals that I would like to call up for the Life Saving Award would be Kimberly Ayers, Daniel Korzlik, Patrick McGivney. He actually is not here tonight. He's actually taking a test for another department. I'm actually covering for him. Chris Stoltman and Joe Kilchinsky. The crew actually responded to one of our local nursing homes. This was back in June, actually. And they were dispatched for a man that had difficulty breathing. By the time they got there, the man actually went into respiratory arrest, and CPR was in progress. So when they arrived on the scene, they resumed the CPR, and they got an airway for this man. They ventilated. They started, got him on the cardiac monitor. They started pushing the drugs that we usually push, for somebody that goes into an arrest. And they ended up getting a pulse back on him. So he did get to the hospital with a pulse. He did survive, and he was released from the hospital and went back to actually the nursing home that they had pulled him out of. So he is still surviving. He still has basically a good life, and I want to congratulate all the people that actually were involved in this. It was a very good job on everybody's part. So congratulations.
You guys are kind of get a little bit tighter there. Ready? Here we go. Gonna do one more. Ready? Here we go.
Mayor, I have one more award that we want to call the police chief up real quick. We have an individual here tonight that we want to recognize, and that's our outgoing coordinator of our kids' safety camp. And if Robert could come forward. Fire Medic Ratcliffe has been the coordinating the kids' camp for 10 years. And 6 years as the assistant coordinator and 4 as the coordinator. And yesterday, was it yesterday? Tuesday was his last day of coordinating the kids' camp because Robert has decided to go after his nursing degree, which takes 3 years to do that. So he's committing to that. He's still going to stay with us part-time, still going to be a member of our family. But we wanted to recognize that 10-year effort that he touched so many lives with the kids and stuff through that program, has dedicated so much time and effort to make this program the best it's ever been. And he didn't know we were doing this tonight. I asked him if he was going to be here because he said, hey, the mayor wants to know a little bit about the kids camp. Can you come up and talk about it? But, I'll let, we just want to present Robert with a Chief's Recognition Award from Chief Mulhern, myself, and the mayor. The certificate is awarded to Fire Medic Robert Ratcliffe, recognition of 10 years service to the Village Kids Safety Preparedness Camp, serving 6 years as assistant coordinator and 4 years as coordinator of the program, awarded this 21st day of August, 2014. And I'll let the mayor do that honor. Yeah.
Thank you, Chief Weiss, Chief Mulhern. I wish you would have said something. You know. I'm sure I'm going to get made fun of when I get back to the station, but it's been a pleasure doing it for 10 years. Like I said, started off 6 years as an assistant. Steve Stapleton was running it. He left for his full-time job, and it kind of just, fell into my lap, more of a, do you want it, or a voluntold scenario, whatever you want to go with. But it's a good program. It gets the community involved. A lot of kids. There was actually, last year we had a female came back. She was actually in the camp 7 years ago. And she was a 17-year-old that came back, and, she said how much it, touched her life, that she came in, had fun learning about fire and EMS and everything, and it's a joint effort with the police department where they learn about internet safety, stranger danger, drugs. And over the years, it's really a shock on how much kids know nowadays about stranger danger, especially drugs. It's mind-boggling that they even probably know more than I do, but it's a good thing for the community, good thing for the students and everything, and it truly is a community effort. A lot of donations from Toyota, Oak Brook Toyota, they donate money. Papa Pisaro's, they donate food. Dunkin' Donuts has over the years. Maxwell's, Jewel, Westbrook, yeah, Uncle Bub's Bakeries. So, it really is a community effort of coming together and helping the kids of Westmont learn and have fun. So, thank you.
Thank you.
There's one fact that Tuesday graduation on Tuesday, Chief Weiss noted. This program has been in place for, over 10 years. If you take that at 30 kids, multiply it out, close to over 1,000 kids of our community have had a chance to attend this camp, and that's saying a lot. And he's done a fantastic job. You see the pictures. You go to every graduation, see the pictures of the kids, and imagine spending, 2 days with 30 kids. It's hard to keep them under control, but he did it, and he did an outstanding job. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
How nice.
congratulations to all the awards that were just presented at the fire department. And we've got another presentation. If I can call Commissioner Antoine to the podium. Stan has been a 10-year Planning and Zoning Commission member. For 10 years, he's volunteered his time to serve the community. And unfortunately, Stan is moving.
Moving on, yeah.
He's moving, so tonight we're here to honor him and present him with and I'll ask Jill if she could please come up and help me. We're going to present him with a plaque and allow him to say a couple words. So again, Stan, for 10 years of service to the Village of Westmont. Thank you.
I don't have too much to say. It was a great time. John kicked me many times under there, quieted me down. Sure. But it was fun. I think you guys got a good board, and I'll help wherever I go. I'm going to do the same thing, try and help out wherever I go. But appreciate it. Love you guys.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. And to go along with that, any interested individual who'd like to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission, please letter or a resume and get it to Jill Ziegler. Anybody who is interested. So we do have a vacancy, and we're going to allow staff to assist in hopefully bringing somebody to the board to appoint. So anybody and we'll have a press release on that too. So anybody who's interested, they have to live in Westmont. If they're interested in planning and zoning, they could call and talk to Jill or just send in your resume. So I have one more presentation this evening, and this is a pleasure because I know both these couples, and we do have the honor to acknowledge two couples who have represented 132 years of marriage between them. Bill and Joe Wavak have been married 65 years. Marcel and Teresa Levesque for 67 years. And the reason it's kind of, the Wavak celebrated August 27th and the Levesque celebrated on July 26th. Both these individuals and their family have been real active in the community. The Wavaks owned Wavak Hardware, and I know Joe helped with that business with Bill and his father. Bill was involved in the Lions Club, probably our longest serving member in the club. Bill has also been very active in the veterans groups, the VFW, now the American Legion. And Marcel Levesque and his wife Teresa, who worked for the school system. Marcel basically started the Bank of Westmont, which is now the Bank of America. And if anybody needed any funding in the early years, you went and saw Marcel because he took care of you. He sponsored a lot of youth activities. He's probably instrumental in sponsoring most of our early girls athletic programs. So it's a great honor that tonight I'd like to present both couples with the key to the city. If you please would come up to the podium, I would do that now. I'll give it to the ladies. And again, it's an honor that you both have been active, the whole family's been active in the community. If you'd like to say anything, now's the time. So wait a minute, I'm not talking to you guys.
So all I want to say, after you're married for a certain time, you don't argue quite as much,
because you can't hear each other too well.
Only Bill.
I'm done, that's it.
Only Bill would say that.
Well, what I'd like to say is, we moved to Illinois in '51, lived in Chicago with Ashland and Jackson. Teresa worked at Alden's, which is similar to Monkey Ward's, Sears, a mail order house, and she met Helen Medrick there. Medrick is an old Westmont family with quite a few people. The 2 or 3 of them, I think, worked for the village. Anyway, we were invited to Helen's wedding, and I left Ashland and Jackson and drove Ogden Avenue all the way to Westmont, and that's the longest ride when you don't have the superhighways. And the wedding was at the Holy Trinity, the old wooden building on the corner, and that was my exposure to Westmont. And we've been involved here ever since. And it's been a good life, good marriage. Teresa was my next door neighbor in the state of Maine. And she's been a long ways. What?
Don't talk all night.
Still pushes me.
You know, she's the only one that could tell you
One more
that.
thing, I would just want to say thank you to everybody involved. And we have such good neighbors. Some of them are here to witness this, and thank them for coming too. Thanks, everybody.
And again, congratulations. And that concludes my report for this evening. It's kind of an exciting night. We'll move on to Clerk Simsky.
Well, congratulations to everyone tonight. What a night.
Yeah.
Lot of congratulations. Secondly, I want to remind everybody, we got rained out tonight for the Cruiser Nights, but there will be one more next Thursday night. So come out for the last one. It's a good time. Everybody has a lot of fun. So remember to come out next Thursday for Cruiser Nights. That's all I
Good,
have.
thank you. Attorney Zemanek.
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Acting Manager May.
Nothing, sir, thanks.
Ooh, wonder if this is going to continue.
Not a chance.
Trustee Nero.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Oh, Trustee Barker.
Just one thing.
Okay.
Let that slide. 2 weeks from this evening, at I believe 4 p.m., there'll be a meeting of the Code Enforcement Committee, and I urge everybody to attend.
Good, thank you.
That's all. Thank you.
Trustee Seneca.
Oh,
I know.
I'm going to have something. Okay, so here's the story. You've all heard of the ALS Challenge, the Ice Bucket Challenge. Well, I've been challenged by Colleen Alexander, who is hospice nurse manager extraordinaire, lives here in Westmont, and a volunteer. So she challenged me, and I bought a little bit of time from her because I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make a spectacle of it. So next Thursday night at Cruiser Nights, I'll accept that challenge and I'll get doused with the bucket of ice water. Can't believe I'm doing it. But in turn, I am challenging every board member here. The police chief, the fire chief, Larry Forsberg, assistant manager May. They've all accepted, so come to Cruiser Nights next week and see us get dumped on. We don't just get dumped on here. We get dumped on with ice water. It's a wonderful cause. It's a wonderful cause. It raises awareness as well as funds for ALS, which is a very debilitating and painful and very fatal disease. You
You
can
have the
go to
exact time on that?
well, we haven't set the time. Larry McIntyre will hopefully plan that. We'll set a time.
You're going to need a big bucket.
You say it.
Yeah.
Well, I go first, so I will have a little bucket. You guys are all going to have a big bucket. We're thinking one of those front loaders, you know. But anyway, getting back to the ALS, it is, as I said, a very debilitating and very painful and fatal disease that many people suffer with. And this initiative has raised just millions of dollars for a disease that people are really just now learning about. So I urge everyone to go to alsa.org and make a small donation. It doesn't have to be hundreds or thousands of dollars. I mean, even $10. Every little bit helps. So that's what we will all be doing. Now, Harold He's going to be on vacation, but we're going to try to think of a way to Skype him in. And I think the mayor is out of town, so we're going to somehow work that in too. But anyway, that'll be happening
Maybe
next
an
Thursday.
outside event during holidays around Christmas.
Yeah, they can do it then. They can do it then. So that'll be happening next Thursday night, and that's all I have.
Well, thank you.
And talking about that, we did have a water department employee for years, Bill Scheffler.
Yes, we
at
had an employee here
ALS.
in Westmont.
So we would be working for one of our own.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Thank you.
Thank you. Hope everybody comes out and watches us.
Trustee
Get down.
Berry.
Again, congratulations to everybody, especially the Wavex and the Levex. Personally, they've guided me through a lot of the business aspects and the town aspects, and I appreciate the conversations always. And also just to remind everyone, the kids are back in school, so if everyone could slow down and make sure and come to complete stops at those bus stops and so forth. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Addington.
A couple things. First one is I need to tell a story. Because this young kid came to this town in the late 60s, and his wife said, go to the bank, see if they'll hire you. Well, that guy over there made the mistake of hiring me. And that's when we had the only bank in town, and it was a heck of a good bank, wasn't it? We did a lot for this community, and I'm so proud that Marcel and Teresa are still with us and in our community and doing what they're doing. But the story I want to tell is, I got asked by my bank president if I wanted to bowl in the bowling league. And I thought, oh boy, I'm going to bowl for the Bank of Westmont. He put me on Wavex hardware. And that's how I met Bill for the first time. So there's some longevity. These are 4 absolutely wonderful people. And I hope you guys are around for the next 100 years. The other thing is that we were going to have the Lions Club, that's why I'm more casual, but we were going to have the hearing bus and the diabetic retinopathy bus tonight as part of Cruisin' Nights. Of course, that got all canceled. I know for sure that next Thursday we'll be able to reschedule the hearing bus. I'm not yet sure about the diabetic retinopathy bus. I'll know tomorrow. But we are planning on bringing the hearing bus back for the last Cruisin' Nights next Thursday. So those who didn't get a chance to have their hearing tested can come next week.
And it's
Should I call your wife and remind her?
I'm sure she's hearing it right now.
Okay.
And that's free.
And absolutely. And it's a screening. Again, you go through the procedure, and if they find anything that's a little amiss, then it's suggested that you go to get your own testing done. But it is free. It's through our Lions of Illinois Foundation, and something that we supply to all the community. So again, sorry we lost it tonight, but we'll try to get them both here for next Thursday and do it again.
Thank you. Trustee Scott.
I'd just like to congratulate everyone that was here tonight and to announce that we'll have an economic development meeting September 3rd. It's Wednesday, 9 a.m. right here.
Very good.
Thank you.
And again, just one quick, Marcel did me a favor, my first house, he gave me a loan at the Bank of Westmont at 13%, so that's. But the rate on the market was 14.
But
at
you're
the
still,
time.
you're still going to let him keep the
No,
key, right?
he did that was a favor, because it was 13, just think about it. All right, and thank you. But moving on, items removed from the consent agenda. Are there any board members that would like to request any of the items be removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I would ask the Assistant Manager May to please read the consent agenda.
Thank you. Mayor, first item on the consent agenda is the village board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the regular village board meeting held on August 7th, 2014. Next item is the July financial report. Board to consider a motion to accept the financial report submitted for the month of July 2014. Next is finance ordinance number 9 in the amount of $1,354,985.97. Next are purchase orders. First purchase order is Camstrup Water Metering. This is for the water meters for the pilot program we discussed at the Public Works Committee meeting. That's in the amount of $23,991.40. Next purchase order, Baxter and Woodman, $22,620. This is the purchase order for the contract that was already approved for the West Ogden Water Main Extension. This is not a budgeted item, but this is 100% reimbursed by the developer. Next item, next purchase order, Hornick Engineering Systems, $8,370, represents backflow testing services for May, June, and July. Next purchase order to Don Morris Architect, $10,675 regarding building review and inspection services. Next purchase order is to DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference, in the amount of $21,920.28, represents our annual dues. Following purchase order is for Phillips Flowers, $13,059.40, and this is for the CBD decorations or the live green portion, so all of the wreaths and the garland. Next purchase order is Vidido Tree Experts, $24,909. That is for services related to the EAB tree removal and the stumping, and that represents 59 ash trees in town, that were in town. Next purchase order, Westmont Park District, $12,500. This is the quarterly landscaping services for the intergovernmental agreement for the grounds maintenance for public properties. The next purchase order is also to the Westmont Park District, $8,049.24 is the cost-sharing portion for the Village Landscape Architect. Final purchase order, Home Security Store Incorporated, $5,324.04, and this is for the replacement alarm system for the Village Hall. This is a grant-funded item. It's a 100% grant-funded, so 100% of that is recaptured. All cases, all those purchase orders were budgeted except the one that I pointed out. Total of all purchase orders is $151,418.36, and therefore the total of purchase orders and finance ordinance number 9 would be $1,506,404.33. And finally, on the consent agenda is a proclamation declaring September 2014 as Hunger Action Month in the Village of Westmont. If I could read that.
I'd like you to read it, yes.
Whereas Northern Illinois Food Bank is a nonprofit organization that engages communities in a commitment to feed our hungry neighbors, and whereas Northern Illinois Food Bank provides meals for over 60,000 different people each week throughout a network of food pantries, soup kitchens, shelters, and youth and senior feeding programs, with over 80 in DuPage County, including People's Resource Center in Westmont. And whereas the Northern Illinois Food Bank distributed over 50 million meals to hungry neighbors in their fiscal year 2014, and whereas September is Hunger Action Month, where Northern Illinois Food Bank and over 200 food banks across the country are hosting awareness campaigns and events to bring attention to and take action for the cause of hunger. And whereas September 4th, 2014 is National Go Orange Day, now therefore be it resolved that through the power vested in the mayor of Westmont, Illinois, let all who do have and will reside and work in the Village of Westmont, Illinois know that our village joins the Northern Illinois Food Bank in proclaiming September 2014 as Hunger Action Month in the Village of Westmont.
Thank you. Before I have a motion, I'd ask anybody who's here for that proclamation is please come up to the podium and introduce yourself and give you an opportunity to address the board.
Hello, thank you for having us tonight. My name's Brandon. I am the communications specialist for the Northern Illinois Food Bank. Our mission is to make sure that every person in Northern Illinois is able to eat 3 meals a day, every week, throughout the year. We work with 800 partners throughout our 13 county service area to make sure that we are able to accomplish this. Last year, as we said, 50 million meals were served to our hungry neighbors, but in our service area, there is about a 75 million meal gap, which means we still have about 25 million meals to go before we make sure that our mission is complete. I thank you for having us. Please wear orange on September 4th to show your awareness for hunger, and make sure that you send your pictures into Northern Illinois Food Bank so that we can use those in the future and help develop this relationship with the Village of Westmont. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And we have Hank.
Yeah. Hank Anzalone. I operate the food pantry here for People's Resource Center. We're a partner with Northern Illinois Food Bank, and we're very privileged to be so. Hunger is nothing to be excited about, but we're very excited about what's being done about it here in the village. We have our Stuff a Truck program that'll be inaugurating, I think, September 23rd to run through October 25th. You have more information on that will be coming, but that should be a wonderful event to help bring a lot of food donations. We're excited over so many things that's going on in the village. With it looks like we'll be able to purchase our new site and have more empowerment programs to help people become those victors of their circumstances. Thank you. This community is wonderful. Thank you all.
Thank you. Appreciate what you do. If you can wait after we vote, we'll give you the proclamation to take with you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
Motion by Addington to approve.
Second, Seneca?
Motion made and second on the question. Anybody in the audience? No board member? Roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Very good. She'll fill it in and have the chief give it to you. Thank you. Unfinished business that we do not have any. We'll move on to the new business and Planning and Zoning Commissioner reappointments. The board to consider a motion approving the mayor's reappointment of the following members of the Planning and Zoning Commission: Steve Fredesco, R. Roy Fleet, Greg Pill, Ed Richard, Craig Thomas, and Wallace Van Buren. Again, the term of the office for each commissioner is 5 years, and until their respective successors are appointed and qualified. All the appointees have met all requirements for reappointment. At this time, there's an opening for one new commissioner due to the resignation of Commissioner Anton earlier this evening. And my recommendation is to reappoint these 6, and then I entertain a motion to that.
Motion approved, Scott.
Second, Addington.
Motion been made and second to approve the appointments. On the question. Trustee,
No, go ahead.
Trustee.
You anticipated?
Yeah.
The question was same when I asked with the others, are we staggering the terms of the appointments? Because I think that's part of the way the law is written.
It is.
Yeah, okay.
So that's up to you to decide who gets what term, or if we can go back historically and figure out whose terms expired first, you can follow that order. But since these are new appointments, it's really your discretion. So you just have to figure that out. One person will serve a 1-year term, and the last person will serve a 5-year term.
I say the fairest thing would be to go back and look at the history, and this would be up to 5 years. No one would be more, but stagger them.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Good question.
Could there be records for some of those guys? They've been around forever.
Do we do records when Wally was on? It's been 35 plus.
Papaya.
Just Any other questions? Anybody from the audience? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Very good. Agenda item B, 141 East Richmond Avenue, the Bussey fence variance. Board to consider an ordinance approving a zoning code variance request from Brian and Angela Bussey to allow a 6-foot solid wood fence in the side yard adjoining the street in the R3 Single Family Residential District. Village Planner Ziegler.
Thank you, Mayor. The applicants have a very large corner lot. They're requesting a variance in order to be able to fence the majority of their rear yard. The code requires the fence to be set back 15 feet from the property line, and they would like to install the fence at the property line. As you can see on their plot, it shows that this is what is proposed along their property line, and this is what is required, the 15 feet back. As you can tell, they have a very large 200-foot long lot depth, and so they'd like to be able to keep as much of their backyard fenced as possible. The fence would be set back far enough from the corner to avoid any line of sight issues from the intersection, and this would provide the applicants the ability to fence almost 3,000 more square feet of their backyard.
So that lot is fenced currently
Yes,
with chain link?
yes.
And does it sit where it's proposed or where it,
Where it's...
the 15 foot?
It's set back to 15.
It's set back to
It's,
15?
oh, it is on the, yeah,
Where you're proposing to
but
be?
because it's chain link and you can see through it, they have that ability. With this, they're going to do a 6-foot tall fence that's wooden.
And then there's no sidewalk that runs that?
Not on that side.
Okay.
And
Thank you. That's all I have.
their neighbor has a solid 6-foot white fence, just to the west.
And the fence, the pictures that we saw, the fence was just inside the trees, the new fence, correct?
One of the trees is going to be removed, correct?
Okay.
Motion.
Motion to approve, Barry.
Second, Addington.
Motion made and second to approve as presented. On the question? Anybody from the audience? Seeing no questions, roll call, please.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Parker.
Yes.
There you go. Congratulations. Thank you. 100, 102, and 104 Chestnut Avenue, People's Resource Center. Board to consider an ordinance approving the following requests from the People's Resource Center at 100, 102, and 104 Chestnut Avenue in the M Manufacturing District. 1, zoning code variance request to reduce the number of required off-street parking stalls to allow the operation of a multi-tenant building. And 2, a waiver from associated variance fees. Village Planner Ziegler.
Thank you, Mayor. The applicant requests a parking variance in order to reduce the number of required parking spaces in order for the existing property owner to run his medical supply business, for a dance studio to operate, and for the People's Resource Center to operate. As you all know, the People's Resource Center is moving because they've run out of space, and they found this as an ideal location that meets zoning and has substantially more parking than what they have now. As part of the request, the applicant would restripe the existing parking lot to add 8 additional parking spaces, and this results in a total variance request for all 3 businesses for 7 spaces. The applicant has noted nearby available street parking, which can also be used under conditions where it's necessary. The PRC is a valued resource that has outgrown its location. They have been searching for a permanent home for several years. The proposed striping improvements will add to the parking counts, and staff recommends approval of the variance and the fee waiver.
Does Hank want to add anything more to that? No, I don't think so either. Do I have a motion?
So move, Seneca.
Second, Addington.
Motion made and seconded. On the question.
Hank, what are your hours there?
Now you got to come up to the podium.
Yeah, we're gonna make you come
We're
up
gonna make you
anyway.
come
You
up.
didn't think you was here?
All right,
Yeah, let's get Kim up there.
all right, wait, then
Okay,
get up.
the question is, so what our hours are? Currently, we're open at, well, I've been getting there 5:30 in the morning, but our doors open about 8 in the morning for clients, all the way till almost 9 at night. We have our reception person, and that's Monday through Thursday. On Fridays, it's 8 to 4, and on Saturdays, it's 8 to noon.
Is there any?
And you maintain similar hours in the new building?
Oh,
I'd be happy to address that. At this point, we won't be open more hours. We'll be able to address more, we'll be able to offer more services simultaneously. That's really been our significant challenge for any of you that have visited where we are on Black Hawk Drive right now, when the food pantry's open, that's essentially all we can accomplish. When the clothes closet's open, it actually takes us 2 hours to set it up and then 2 more hours to tear it down. And we've just outgrown it. We're serving around 1,000 families every month versus the 300 when we first opened in 2008. So this will allow us to have things happening all at one time, so clients hopefully don't have to come as frequently and more than one time a week. But we don't have any intention of adding additional operating hours, just doing more while we're open.
The empowerment program, can you
That's
just quickly tell everybody about that?
Sure. Our empowerment programs include programs that really are focused to help families to plan for opportunities to change their life trajectory, really. It's about education, and it's about helping them find self-sufficiency. So those programs include literacy programs that help them learn English, help them become citizens, help them gain a GED, or study for something else that they've been working on. We're offering a reading class for folks that might be interested in computers. So we're trying to blend things a little bit. We have a computer training program that also includes a refurbishing program so that those students that take a class through that program, can take a computer home to practice and to learn what they're doing, and that's at no cost. We have a job assistance program where we have individual job coaches working individually with our clients so that they can find work and help to better support their families. And then we have an art program that works with adults, works with families, but also works with children.
Very good. And volunteers, are you looking for any volunteers?
This location will actually allow us to open up more volunteer opportunities. Right now, we are we've got hugely wonderful volunteers, but we don't have a lot more openings to add more. And so we're really looking to open up more opportunities with the new facility. But over the entire organization, we've got roughly 2,000 active volunteers that do the majority of our service delivery. So we really expect, with larger space, the opportunity to have more programs happening all at one time will bring more people into the Westmont community with more volunteer opportunities, more group volunteer opportunities, a variety of different things. And we're just so grateful for the help that we've gotten from so many neighbors that have helped make this location come to our attention. Larry Forsberg and many of you all have been incredibly helpful. So we're very grateful.
And we're honored that you're here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I ask a question? You're at 1,000 families a month.
Out of just the Westmont location, that's a rough average.
Where do you think this building, how much can this building handle?
We're looking at this as a permanent home for what we're doing. So as a larger organization, just looking at People's Resource Center, we've got the 15,000 square foot building in Wheaton. This is a little over 13,000 square feet. And we partner with over 30 other locations across the county to take some of what we do, those empowerment programs, for instance, on the road so that folks don't have to come to one of those two locations. We'll continue to scale through those kinds of partnerships. And then our board has already identified, with all of the demographic changes happening in DuPage, that it's not outside the realm of possibility that we'll consider in the future a third location, potentially up in northeastern DuPage. This Westmont location is intended to catch the southeast corner of DuPage. We serve all of the county. Anyone who chooses to come to this location will happily serve. But we understand that it's a big county and it's hard for people to get to us. So we really want to be as accessible as possible, and that's kind of the model that we're trying to support through this location.
Good. Thank you.
Sure.
Any additional questions? Anybody in the audience? Any other board? Can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Seneca.
Absolutely, yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
And grand opening, do you have a date?
We're at this point, we're looking at move-in starting, will happen mid-February. We'll have a ribbon cutting, big celebration in March, but we'll have a lot of other parties and celebrations way before that. Let's get to closing. Let's get to closing and then we'll party first.
Make all the steps work.
Thank you so much, everyone.
333 East Ogden Avenue, Standard Market. Board to consider an ordinance approving the following requests from Standard Market in the B2 General Business District. 1, zoning code variance request to increase the number of allowable signs. 2, zoning code variance request to display more than 5 signs on the premises. And 3, zoning code variance request to display a sign that projects more than 18 inches. Village Planner Ziegler.
Thank you, Mayor. The applicant is permitted 2 total signs per code. As you can see in the aerial shot, the large building and the several different entrances make it necessary for the business to have a few more identifiers. They are requesting to continue using their ground sign over by Blackhawk, and then add a double-sided neon sign near their new barbecue area, which is a seasonal outdoor area, in addition to their previous signs, which they received a variance for several years ago. The applicant requests approval of additional signs to provide identification of this new seasonal outdoor barbecue patio. The proposed square footage of the combined sign area meets the zoning requirements, but the number of signs is what triggers the variance request. In addition, one of the signs projects from the building, which also triggers a variance. Vince Priest is here from Standard Market, if there's any specific questions about the signs or
Anything you'd like
barbecue.
to add, or? No. She did a very good job. Do I have a motion?
So move Seneca.
Second, Barker.
Motion made and seconded on the question. Trustee Addington.
There was a letter from one resident, really about the fact that the sign is down on Blackhawk and the new one is going to go in. And the question was whether that was going to be lighted or illuminated in some way, which could cause more problems for the residents over there.
This is the sign that they're talking about, and it would be illuminated through the letters. It's a.
So it's similar to, I think, what was there before.
It's
Yeah.
exactly what was there before, yeah.
Just upgrade and be a little bit nicer, newer.
It's exactly, how you doing, everybody? It's exactly the same sign. We blacked it out while we were out of compliance with the code. Assuming this ruling is favorable, we'll just take the blackout covering off, so it's no change to what was there. It's precisely the same sign.
And from the standpoint of the one inquiry that we got across the street, is really not going to shine into their living rooms. From what you're explaining from this, I don't see it.
Yeah, but just even more specifically, it's the sign that was there. We put black boards over that sign, and we're gonna take those black boards down. So
Down.
that sign was previously illuminated internally, and we covered it until we came into compliance, and then we will uncover it if this ruling is favorable.
And then to the neons, maybe this is to Jill, is there regulations on the neons as far as how bright they can be and what they can do? And do we have any examples of what those neons would be?
There's one there now. There's a sign, when you leave the store, if you look to the west, there is a sign there at present inside of this space. So it's precisely that sign, but it will be outside this space.
But do we have examples of those other signs where you're talking?
Yes, I can show you those. As the police chief just brought up too, the Standard Market ground sign will also be pointing north and south. It's not going to be pointing across the street, so there shouldn't be any issues
Not gonna
in
be
terms
an
of
issue.
illumination. And then the
Thank
signs, this is the, yeah, this is the barbecue sign. It shows how it projects, which doesn't meet the code, but, you know, our code hasn't been completely updated. And so, you know, this is a, you know, pretty standard sign that you know, might see in Chicago or, you know, at a, you know, a new
Refresh my
restaurant.
memory. I thought the hanging signs were outlawed because of the danger involved.
I think in the, prior to now they were, but as long as you have the correct construction standards, which, you know, which are always reviewed during the permit process, then, you know, that's why they require the variance, because they project.
But that's not hanging over
It's going to look nice.
sidewalks or streets or,
It's not hanging over sidewalks or streets.
It's the same as the one you have up now?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen the one they have up now. It's not overly bright. It's a really nice looking
it's
sign.
nice.
It's, couldn't be
I
better
think the
secured.
question
It's out of the way.
that Harold brought up was something that goes back to where people really were against any hanging sign, because like in the downtown, it hung over the sidewalk, and there was always a question of a falling sign that would cunk you on the head or something. But this, even if it comes down, it's not coming down where anybody's at, so.
Right.
And we definitely have better construction
Yeah,
standards.
and better, because following new standards and everything else, yeah. So I think it's positive.
You gonna take them down at winter?
No.
No, just keep them down, keep them up.
And then is there a time restraint on those, or as they're used now?
It'll be during business operating hours. Even if there's not a constraint, it'll be less than what our, it's not gonna be late at night. Our place closes at 10 o'clock and they'll be out at 10.
Great.
Does that mean you keep the barbecue ribs and the smoked ribs over the winter too?
Probably not. Just once it's installed, it's hard to, there's electrical involved and stuff.
Maybe Vince could tell us what the SMQ stands for?
Yeah.
It's about?
Market barbecue.
Oh, nice.
And all your improvements are just fabulous. I mean, it really, it's top notch.
It's excellent, yep.
Any additional questions?
Just a point, you've been great for Westmont, and we're very happy to have you here.
Well, thanks a lot. And,
Thank you.
You know, I was listening to Harold say how much he likes the village, and I was just thinking, and then Larry Forsberg sent me a text and said, hey, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, you know, I mean, I remember the first time that I came here, and Jim was leading a lynch mob. Do you guys remember that?
Oh, yes. I will never forget it.
There was a handful of neighbors that were behind him, and just what a great village this has been to work with, and just so many people from the village come and support our business, and a lot of their kids work for us now, and it's been a very good relationship both ways. We even had a issue with the construction, and you know, just the village walked me through how to get the thing back in compliance, and it was a very, I think, favorable, reasonable man standard that was applied, and we've really enjoyed having our business here in Westmont, and the support from the village and from all the people that live here too, yeah.
Your store is phenomenal. I'm in there more than I'm at home.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, so more business comes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And your new store events, how's the new one doing?
We're about 90 days in. We're obviously ahead of where we were with Westmont when we opened Westmont, because, you know, that was the first time we'd ever done that with the partners, and we're a little bit better at doing it now. So we're up, we're running, we're 90 days in. We got some more ground to cover, but we're doing good. Thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very good. And we're not going to say where that location's at, so.
We don't
I can ask it to the city.
Said the other one.
Yeah. Well, any additional questions?
No?
Roll call?
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Passed. All right. Ryan Builders, 6635, 6655, and 6675 South Cass Avenue. Board to consider ordinances approving the following requests from Ryan Builders Incorporated for an existing planned unit development multifamily project located at 6635, 6655, and 6675 South Cass Avenue. 1, approving an amendment to the plan development agreement as amended to eliminate the rental restriction on condominium units. And 2, approving an extension of the previously granted variance for density for 6635 South Cass Avenue. I've got Attorney Zemenak and Village Planner Ziegler.
Thank you, Mayor. This project, the first phase, I guess, was approved in the year 2004, 2 16-unit buildings. The village board at that time, as part of the plan development agreement, imposed a rental prohibition on the condominium units. It was at a time when we were studying the rental market and number of rental units within the village, a concern about condominium owners renting these units. Was expressed by the board. The developer agreed to that restriction. It was part of the approvals. The economy since soured. Developer had some problems selling some of the units. Has now come back and stated that he's had potential buyers for units. They would be getting FHA mortgages, which FHA, I guess, loans out to about 40% of Americans. But FHA will not issue loans on properties with rental restrictions. So the developer, Tim Ryan's here, can answer any questions, but as to that issue, he's looking to have the village board amend the plan development agreement to remove the rental restriction. And I know he got the signatures of every current unit owner there in support of this request. And Tim, I guess you can explain that your plan is not to rent or have owners rent these
Yeah,
units.
as you know, John, I didn't go into it building apartment buildings when they're building condominium buildings. And, pardon me, last time I was here, the board allowed some rentals, as they did for other places like Richmond Station. I still chose not to. I wasn't in the rental market. And then things, as you pay dues and taxes, I finally rented a few out. The purpose of this, though, is I had the building, it's difficult to get FHA approved for buildings. And it was approved a few years ago, and then when I went to recertify it, they denied it because they changed their rules in regards to rentals. And you have to, now can't have any restrictions. So I went to each individual owner in there, and we voted on it, and it was 32-0. They said yes. And it's not to necessarily rent the units, it's to allow us to sell these units. I've got 2 more sales for next month, hopefully. FHA, if this is approved, then I can get this recorded and we can move on and eventually get a 3rd building going. So that's the reason behind it. So it's not to make these rental buildings, it's more to, let's keep the ball rolling and sell these units to people. 40% is a lot of people. We can, you know, you're looking at 3.5% down opposed to 15, 20% down.
As to the second request that's on the agenda for this item, the 3rd building that you mentioned has not yet been constructed. Tim's gotten extension, the variance was granted for density, which has to be exercised within 1 year, or the variance is voided out. Because the economy soured, the 3rd building was not constructed. Mr. Ryan's come in every so often and requested extensions of that variance from the village board so it doesn't lapse. It's been granted by the village board. The last extension was a 3-year extension that expires on December 6th of this year. Since he was coming in for this item, I suggested that we tack this on to again extend the variance. I put in the ordinance another 3-year extension. You may feel that's too long, too short, whatever, that's up to you guys. I asked the applicant his thoughts on that time, another 3-year extension. He was fine with that,
Absolutely, John, yes.
but it's up to you.
So I'm looking for a motion to, there's 2 ordinances here, and the first one would be approving amendment to the plan development agreement as amended to eliminate the rental restriction on the condominium units.
Motion approved, Scott.
Second.
Oh, you get to call that one.
Nero.
I don't know, that was close. Trustee Nero. That was close. Motion been made and second on the question on the,
Yes, two things. You might have said this, how much of the building is occupied, or the buildings?
22 units out of 32 are sold.
22 out of 32, okay, and then this one, I guess, is for John. If someone purchases a unit in there, they have the right, if we eliminate the restriction on rental, they have the right to go out and rent that independently. So we have absolutely no control.
Right.
Even if the homeowners association?
Yeah, the homeowner association,
Said
I'm
no?
interrupt you, but the homeowner association, they're the ones who voted understanding
to allow
that
it.
this was primarily to allow more
Just for
buyers.
sales, yeah.
Now, 3 years ago, I had a few people ask me if they could rent their units out, and then one of them, I said no, and then they showed me the hardship. And because this one particular person, their aunt owned it, she passed away, all of a sudden they have bills such as dues and taxes, so they had to rent out. Let me stress that this is, if you want to buy these to rent them out, it'd be a poor business decision. I mean, they're expensive units, well, not quite as what they were before, and you're paying dues and taxes that it wouldn't be a good investment, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Could you tell us what they are running, just so?
Now?
Yeah.
Right now, they're about 270. They were 340 up to 350, and around there.
2 bedrooms?
2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,650 square feet. They're beautiful units.
And then-
It's not been an issue,
Very nice.
but it's just been, you know.
Monthly
and
assessment, or is there a monthly assessment?
The dues are $214 a month.
Okay.
And taxes are $5,500 a year. So, you know, to buy it and rent it out I wouldn't think it'd be a smart
So
thing.
I'd like you to be able to sell them, but can we enter an agreement with the homeowners association?
Again, there can't be any, I don't mean to interrupt you, trustee, but there can't be any restrictions by way of
That would be a
FHA.
restriction that would violate.
Yes, correct.
What you're
Just,
trying
I didn't mean to interrupt you at all, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to let you know there
Well,
can't be
yeah,
no
I just-
restrictions. Now, this is kind of strange, when I applied to them, they have it where you can't lease more than 50%, not that it said ever would be. So I said, you want the language to be 50% or less? They said, no, you can't have restrictions. But what happens is whenever there's a sale, I have got to fill out, or whoever would be running the association would fill out a form, how many are owned, how many are rented, and if it ever exceeded that amount, they wouldn't give them a loan. So it's kind of strange that I couldn't put the language in there to limit.
There is a limit.
But there is a limit. So you go along with what they want, and then you're governed by them when you apply for a loan.
But Bruce, to answer your question, once he sells the remaining, how many units? 10 units.
Well, it'd be 8 soon.
He's out of the picture.
Right.
The homeowners association can then say, we want to restrict rental units to no more than, let's say, 10% of the total units, which is not uncommon.
Right.
And at that point, they're less concerned about, first-time buyers getting FHA loan approval to buy the units. They might still be hurting themselves because they're eliminating part of the market if FHA sees that they have a rental restriction, but, they do have that right.
So in that scenario then, if the building's 100% occupied with owners, and they say, we're not going to let renters come in, which they will be able to, if one goes to sell, they wouldn't be able to sell it FHA.
Correct.
So that would go away then at that point.
Yeah, it'd go away. And it's difficult to get FHA approved. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a small percentage to get approved. The biggest thing is reserve funds a lot of times, and our reserve meet all the requirements. Everything meets the requirements. Everything's approved by FHA right now. I just need to get it recorded, but I don't want to get it recorded. Obviously, I've got to go through you because this was, in the very beginning of restriction.
So a FHA loan requires the individual to live there, correct?
Correct.
Correct, is that how FHA loans? So then, what would your rent price point be?
$2,000 a month.
$2,000 a month. And you said currently you are renting one that you've had?
I do, yes, correct.
Okay. Which is technically in violation of the ordinance?
No, because last time I was in here, they allowed me to rent a few.
Okay, okay.
Didn't mean to interrupt, but I.
Yeah, no, I just was trying to follow. I wasn't
Yeah.
a part of the board on the
Turn
first
myself in.
decision. Yeah, so, well, I just was curious, as if we're already renting, then why are you here? wasting
No,
your time?
I try to do things the right way. I built in the village for probably 15 years. I probably built, over in that area, probably 60, 70 homes. I always try to do things the right way and go do the process. And so that's why I come before you today instead of just going around corners or what have you.
Are you looking at the third building if these all
For
get
my
sold?
kids to build.
Yeah.
It's probably about what it's going to be. I thought I'd be done with that building and moving on, but obviously things, in the rental unit, things have picked up a little tick on some houses here and there. With regards to condos, it's hard. And let's say now, if we don't do this, it's restricting even more for me by 40% if I don't do this.
Yeah.
So right now, if somebody wanted, I have people who will be approved FHA to purchase a couple next month. And if this doesn't go through, then again, I'm restricting it more and instead of moving the ball along. I understand what you're trying to do, not to have too many rentals. I understand that. But like I said, if you want to buy these as an investment, I think it'd be a very poor investment. And to build it,
But there is also the potential, but there's the potential there that a wealthy resident could purchase it and have their kid that live there, which might not be a desirable, and rent it out where we have all those rentals already, and we have issues at that end of town with the rentals. So there is concern for us,
Well,
it's a different client.
yeah, I think it's a
Given the-
different client.
I think given the quality of the buildings, the quality, the dollar amount, I could see that happening. Geez, I'd love it if someone bought me one and let me live in there for free. But, let's be honest, no one's going to let those nice places go to.
Well, you got a homeowners association that's there, which you don't have in a regular apartment building.
And they're going to protect
And they
their
govern
And they're
it.
asset.
strict.
Absolutely they do.
Any additional questions? Anybody from the audience? We need a vote on the first ordinance. Roll call, please.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes,
Trustee Barry.
No.
Need another motion to approve the second ordinance, which is approving the extension of the previously granted variance for density for 6635 South Cass Avenue.
Motion approved, Scott.
second Seneca?
Motion been made and seconded on the question. Anybody in the audience?
Again, you're voting on a 3-year extension.
Yes.
Unless you want something different.
Is everybody?
I Just want to make a comment that that lot, you've really maintained that well. It's never been a code enforcement issue. It's, you know, the property really looks nice. I have absolutely no problem with this.
No one has a problem with the 3-year?
No.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
We passed them.
Thanks,
You can
everybody.
sell those 2 next
Yes.
week or whenever it is. And then you'll have 8 left.
Yeah, right.
Those
Thank
two
you.
closed.
All right.
I'll get the amendment to you.
All right,
Great.
thanks.
Okay, thank you.
150 West 63rd Street, removal of title objections. Board to consider ordinance voiding prior development ordinances affecting title to the village-owned property located at 150 West 63rd Street. Attorney Zemanek.
This is the property which the village is under contract to sell to Bradford Real Estate for development of a Mariano's. We are looking to close on September 5th. They have technically until tomorrow to give the official go-ahead that they've satisfied all their due diligence contingencies and are willing to proceed to closing. I've heard nothing that would indicate they're going to terminate the contract. In fact, I've received an email looking to schedule the closing for September 5th, and we've worked through various matters that appear on record for the title to this property, which we're looking to have removed so title's clean. So there was the agreement with the owner of the outlot for site development and reciprocal easement agreement if the outlot was to be developed separately. That's no longer a concern because the owner of the outlot is also selling that property to Bradford for the Mariano's. So this ordinance includes an agreement that terminates those prior approvals. They're also kind of a procedural quirk. The clerk's office at a time was recording all ordinances that affected property against title to the property. So they go to the recorder of deeds, and if a special use ordinance was approved, that ordinance was recorded against the property. Didn't have to do that. In fact, shouldn't have done it because it burdens title. But there are several things like that, such as, well, I can read through them, but the ordinance approving the bid from Lowe's, the ordinance approving the contract with Lowe's, an ordinance approving a First Amendment to the contract with Lowe's, a Second Amendment to the contract with Lowe's, things like that all got recorded against title to the property. Again, that Lowe's development never happened. It's from 2008 or so. So we're looking to void and terminate those prior approvals, record this ordinance to remove those title impediments.
Do we need one? Is it one ordinance or 4?
One.
One.
Motion to approve, Barry?
Yes?
Second, Barker.
Motion been made, second to approve as presented on the question. And anybody from the audience? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Motion passed. New business G, Village Board meeting start time for 2014. Board to consider ordinance to adjust the start time of the regular village board meetings to 5:30 for the remainder of the year. Last meeting, I took a poll of the board, and it seemed like the consensus was to continue with that. We haven't heard any objections that we've been starting at 5:30, so I would entertain a motion to remain at 5:30 for the remainder of 2014.
Motion to approve, Barker.
Second, Nero.
Motion made and seconded on the question
Calendar year, were you saying?
for the rest of 2014.
So here's how I drafted the ordinance, and correct me if you'd like something different, but I just made the change permanent because it's easier to write up that way. And I put in the ordinance that you guys will review prior to the year's end to determine if you want to change. That way we can amend the ordinance if necessary, but you're not obligated. If there's no change, there's no need to bring this up again.
Well, that's
So
good.
It stays
Other
on
than
until
for
we
discussion.
change it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
So we'll review it at the end
So
of the year.
review it before the end of the year. Any additional questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
New business H, auto aid agreement, Darien Woodridge Fire Protection District. Board to consider an ordinance authorizing a mutual aid agreement with the Darien Woodridge Fire Protection District. Chief Wise.
Thank you, Mayor. This is in reference to, we have multiple auto aid agreements with our surrounding towns. We did one with Downers Grove a month or so back. We needed to look at these from time to time and just review them, and it's kind of like just bring them forward and just renew them. There's no major changes in these. Your next meeting, I'll be having an auto aid agreement on the agenda for Oak Brook and Tri-State. And Darien, Woodridge, and Downers are the four that we have it with. They're the four main departments that come in to give us auto aid, that we also give them auto aid. So that's what we have in front of you tonight.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve Addington.
Second, Nero.
Motion made and seconded on the question. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Very good. New business I, 57th Street and Wilmette Avenue, conveyance of properties. Board to consider an ordinance to transfer certain parcels owned by the Village of Westmont to the Westmont Park District to be used for stormwater management and park purposes as an amendment to the existing intergovernmental agreement respect thereto. Assistant Manager May.
The properties in question, it says parcels, but it's two parcels that encompass one detention basin that is village-owned and maintained on South Wilmette. As the mayor mentioned, pursuant to the intergovernmental agreement we already have with the Park District, there are several parcels that are were village-owned or transferred to Park District for park purposes, but we maintain the right and responsibility to maintain the stormwater management within the parcel. Park District's got interest to the adjacent property to the south, and with that, it'll make a nice assemblage of properties, and it fits right in with, consistent with the other properties that we maintain that way. The Westmont Park Board has voted to request the transfer of ownership to the two village-owned parcels while maintaining the stormwater management that I referred to. The intergovernmental agreement was first established in 1988. This would be an amendment to that.
Motion to approve, Barry?
Second, Scott.
Motion been made and seconded on the question. Only thing I can add to that is that this has been applied for the State of Illinois grant, and part of the requirement is for the grant is that the entire 7 acres is owned by the one governmental body. So it makes it easier for the park to hopefully get a $400,000 state grant to develop it into a park site.
Sweet.
Any update on the grant?
Now, the 2 grants we got waiting right now. This is one for development. The other one is the park grant, which we've applied for the building the tie. We haven't heard for either one. So, any additional questions or comments? Not, roll call, please.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
New business J, Plaza Drive parking restrictions. Now, I know I'm going to read this wrong, but I'm supposed to do this, so here we go. Board to consider an ordinance restricting parking on Plaza Drive between Burr Oak and Plaza Drives. Chief Mulhern.
Thank you, Mayor. If I could make one correction, there was a typo. It should be between Burr Oak and Black Hawk Drive, so there's no confusion. The north side of Plaza Drive, west of Black Hawk Drive, has been designated as the preferred location for unloading and loading auto transports. These trucks are large and need a sufficient sized area to park and unload. Parked cars interfere with this operation. Signs for no parking during the day have been installed on a trial basis. Plenty of auto parking opportunities exist. Unloading operations are now more efficient. Some recommendation we approve this. Basically, we have an issue of car haulers unloading in residential areas and also unloading on Ogden Avenue, which is actually illegal. Some dealerships are capable of having their car haulers unload on their own property. Some are not. And so what we'd like to try as a trial basis is to have the part of Plaza Drive be designated as a auto truck or auto car hauler unloading area. This is something that we've been doing on a basis for the last couple of years, but not a requirement. Along with the signage, I will also be drafting a letter and delivering it to the car dealerships, the general managers, and then with the help of Larry Forsberg, I'm also scheduled to try to talk at one of the upcoming Auto Mile meetings with the managers to explain to them we cannot have trucks loading and unloading cars on Ogden Avenue, to do it up in the industrial park area or on their own property.
Good.
Do I have a motion?
Motion approved, Scott.
Second. Motion made and seconded on the question. Trustee Addington.
The only question that I have is, when we, this may have come up before and I just don't recall, when we even did this on a trial basis, did we talk to the folks at IGI about, I don't think this, it's there in front of their property, but I don't think they ever get enough parking.
It's to the east of their property. It's on the it's on the south side of the street, east of their property, so it should not have any effect.
Should never affect
Cars can still park along Ty Park and park on the north side of the street.
Okay.
And they usually have sufficient parking in their own lot, but if they do have any additional, it'd probably even be closer for them to park on the north side along by the park rather than on the south side.
Good, thank you.
We have not talked to them. I can reach out to let them know, though.
Yeah, just, again, so they're aware.
I need to clarify, the parking restriction is along the north.
It's on the park side.
Oh, I'm
But there
sorry.
are many other parking opportunities still available during the day, and it is not highly used. It's just that it takes one parked car to kind of.
Well, the only
interfere with
reason
the
I
parking
mentioned
system.
about IGI is because they have become very good neighbors in working with us with regard to the barbecue and everything else, and I just like to keep that communication
It's
open
been in
with
place
them.
as a trial for
Yeah.
quite a few weeks
And-
now.
Again, these restrictions are Monday through Friday till 6 o'clock. So major activities there would happen probably after or on weekends. So
Yeah.
after watching this area quite a bit and realizing the trucks start unloading all over, it'd be our advantage not to have any parked cars there, so trucks can pull in, unload safely, and keep moving. So I think there's more of a benefit.
And as the mayor indicated, trucks have been unloading there for some time before we even put this trial parking restriction in place. We've been trying to direct them to do it on the industrial park to avoid traffic on Ogden.
Any additional questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Moving on to Agenda 10, miscellaneous. Not only trustees, if they have anything, I don't know if Larry Forsberg, do you have anything you'd like to comment on or add to tell the board about? Okay. Any miscellaneous from the trustees? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to go in executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel.
Dropping these on us, huh? What happened at the beginning of the meeting? Letting us know.
It's on my agenda.
Motion to adjourn to executive session. Parker.
Second.
Motion made and
Nero.
seconded, adjourned to executive session to discuss personnel. Roll call, please.
Sandbag.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Okay, there will, after the executive session, there will not be any further village business, so we will adjourn to the executive session. Thank you.